This is ferrite rod. It's essentially ceramic and iron. It has good magnetic properties but is very fragile. The two size wires we're using today are 0.4 and 0.5 millimeter squared varnish insulated copper wire. We're going to start off by writing out our labels because we're going to be doing 3 coils. The first coil is 400 turns of the 0.4 millimeter wire, the second coil is 60 turns of the 0.5 millimeter wire, and the third coil is 20 turns of the 0.4 millimeter wire again. Normally I'd put masking tape on our ferrite rod before putting it into our chuck. Today I just got lazy. The reason for putting masking tape on it is, as I said, the ferrite rod is extremely fragile. We're going to start off by taking our 0.4 millimeter wire, wrapping it around our chuck a couple of times so that it holds on while we start turning, reset our counter, take a couple of turns onto our ferrite rod to make sure that our coil is stable, reset our counter again, and we're going to start winding. When we're winding, you want to make sure that you have a bit of tension on our wire and a slight angle back from the direction that you're winding to make sure that we have tight turns. If we have a forward angle, the coil is going to spool off, and if we have too much back angle, it's going to bunch up and backlash onto itself. So keeping a slight tension and a slight back angle, start turning, and what we want to do is wind up the first layer 86 turns. After 86 turns, we're going to put a layer of masking tape on this coil just to hold it so that it is not going to unspool itself. Don't cut the wire yet. Absolutely don't cut the wire, because you've still got another 4 layers to go after this. This first coil winds up being 5 layers and 400 turns. We're going to start turning again, this time in the opposite direction, so we're winding the coil in the same direction. It's just that we're going to be causing the coil to come back onto itself to form a second layer, and continue on, and eventually we're going to wind up with 5 layers totaling 400 turns. After this, we're going to cut our wire off about a handspan worth and put our labels on. The first labels, S2F2, means start 2 and finish 2. I know it seems wrong that the first coil you wind is the second, or labeled S2F2, but that's the way it is. We're going to continue on and do 2 more layers. The second layer is S1F1, which is 60 turns of the 0.5 millimeter wire, and then S3F3, which is 20 turns of the 0.4 millimeter wire. The third coil, space that out across the entire winding.